This record is basically my best songs I think I've written over the last 10 years. So it's like 10 years work, if you like. I'm not trying to confuse people, but I did the EP on Razor and Tie, which was, some of the songs on this record are also on that one, but that to me was almost like a demo type recording of the songs. We did the whole thing in a couple of days. This time they're much more fully realised than how I wanted them to sound. It's about not settling, I think, songwriting. It's about keeping going until you find something that you like. So you just have to be patient and keep digging around. And often I'll pick the guitar up for like a couple of hours and just sit and try and come up with something. And I'll come up with like maybe 20 different melodies, but I won't like any of them. So they're just a waste of time. So I generally start from melodies more than lyrics. I mean, some songs it would take me, you know, you write them real quick. Others, I've got songs that I've still not finished, and I've been writing them for like 10 years. I just can't come up with that little lyrical thing. Often I'm looking for a lyrical line that sings, and I can't find it. So it lies dormant, and I'll pick it up again and try and figure out. Hopefully, look for something that just spark. Sometimes they just come in and go, doo. Oh yeah, that's great. I heard a story about Paul Simon when he wrote Bridge Over Troubled Water. When he came up with that lyric, like a bridge over troubled water, I think he cried. That's the story, you know, because and I can understand that, because he nailed it, and he knew he nailed it. He got the perfect melody, the perfect line, the perfect image, and you're always looking for that kind of thing.
How do you know when a song is working for you?
You just have to feel it yourself. You just have to decide yourself that it's... What does it make you feel like? Does it make you feel like you've achieved something, that you're happy, that you're ready to stand behind as a musician? And if you have, then that's your song. Whether people like it or they don't like it, at least it chimes with something inside you, you know. A song can do many things, can't it? It can like encapsulate an emotion, it can encapsulate a time. You know, if you go on holiday and you hear a record, the record can be pretty terrible, but you'll always remember that record for that time. So maybe something that would be nice if my records ever did that for anybody. And if they understood the meaning of the songs, and if the meaning of the songs related to them, of course, that's why you write it. I've had people come up to me and say, oh, I really relate to that song, you're talking about me in that song and all that stuff, and that's great, that's why you do it. I remember when I wrote Stay You, that felt real complete, that little shift, that was real good. And the new record, Chance, I mean, I just wrote that in half an hour. You know, that little... You know, that was real quick, and I thought, that sounds really good. And then when the band played it, it just was like, oh, it works great. And I'm often helped by people in the band, you know, like Aaron will play the really killer drum beat, and that will bring it to life, and then Leslie will come up with a piano line which will bring the song to life, and Drew will do something, you know. So it's, when I bring the song to the band, you know, it's all, people bring something, and then again it takes on a new life of its own. So, yeah. I think it's affected me. I was living in London, and I just had the Columbia record deal, and things were pretty static, and I wasn't doing that much music. I was writing, but I wasn't playing out that much. All of my friends had kind of dropped out, and I felt a little bit isolated in London. So when I came to New York and finally found my place here, I found I'm doing loads more playing. I've got loads more musician friends. There's much more of a community here for music, built around places like Rockwood and the Lower East Side. And you know, I've met a lot of people.
So New York is a good place for you.
For me, it's much better than London ever was. Definitely much better for me. I think fundamentally it's natural sounds, acoustic guitars, natural sounding drums and pianos and that, and then trying to find parts. That's the key. What I mean by that is counter melody. You know, you've got a melody. Gavin, you see again. You know, I'm thinking I'm doing this, and then me and Leslie came up with the piano line. I mean, that's what you're looking for, and that's, if you like, that's not quite palette, that's more arrangements, but there's natural sounds, counter melody. The people who inspired me, I was always a big fan of Bruce Springsteen. I love the early Bruce records. I love Neil Young. I also loved Neil Sedaka, funnily enough. I really thought he was brilliant when I was a kid, and I still think he's a fantastic songwriter. Elton John, early Elton John, I loved the first couple of Elton John albums. And I like the West Coast, Eagles, Jackson Browne. Big fan of those guys. I think they're just wonderful. Everything that they did was great. Songs. And my granddad played the ukulele. He was like a George Formby impersonator during the war. And I think my first instrument was a ukulele, where my granddad or my dad would show me these shapes. Because the ukulele is great for guitar, for kids, because it's only got 4 strings. It's little. And you learn how to, you know, move between the chords and strum in time, and that's basically playing the guitar. So there was always music around, musical instruments. My dad was a big jazz fan. Louis Armstrong was one of my dad's heroes, and Louis Armstrong's now my hero. So that's funny how that's come about. But
what makes Louis so great?
Everything. What makes him so? The feeling you get when you listen to him, this unbelievable imagination of his phrasing and his tones. The humanism of the man, it just comes through. He's singing and he's playing. Everything about him, I think, is as good as it can ever be. It's just, it makes me feel happy, I suppose. That's the key. One of my guitar heroes, David Lindley, you see, who did a lot of work with Jackson Browne, and he plays real simple, spacious tone and note. He's not afraid to, like, just let the note do something, have its own space. And I think as I've got older and played the guitar more, I've just tried to reduce the amount that I play. You know, if I play something that I'm happy with, it's generally something that's just real simple, just at the right place. It can just be. But if it's right and played right, that's perfect for me. You know, that's all I want from a guitar. I don't want to hear. The gigs that I think are really, really great gigs, and the gigs that are just kind of okay or good or whatever, it's the energy from the audience which makes all the difference in the world. We can really play, sometimes maybe we don't play so good sometimes, but if the audience are into it, the whole thing, it takes on a life of its own, and it becomes a much more enjoyable experience. And that's the greatest thing about it. So the gigs are as much, more about the audience than about me and the band.